We know and we talked about how Tesla officials came in and met with Indian authorities in a bid to sort of re-enter India after its failed attempts and specifically Elon's attempts, not just offline but also online on Twitter to get some sort of bargain.
To add some pressure,
To get some sort of bargain from the government. Government denied absolutely no cut in import duty, which means the market temporarily closed for Tesla, but now with him back from Twitter to Tesla, focusing and synergizing his efforts to sort of get into new markets. As we were discussing, Mexico being one, India being another, it appears that, you know, there are better avenues now because they're agreeing to finally make in India, and that is what, you know, many newspapers are reporting, that they could be setting shop in India, they could be manufacturing in India. That will substantially bring down cost of cars.
Right. So, Shweta, you know, with this man here, Elon Musk, it's really very difficult to go beyond the scope of speculation, right? What is going on inside his mind is very difficult. I'm not sure if even he knows exactly what's going on in his mind. So he's a maverick, and he's obviously, you know, he's made sort of great businesses and continues to foster some businesses which may not be great on the books, Twitter, for example, which has been making losses. But largely speaking, you know, Elon Musk and Tesla, their tryst with India goes back about 2 years or so. And 2 years ago, there was a possibility of Tesla coming to India, selling its cars in India. But the government of India put a very clear condition. They said, you want to sell in India, you make in India. Right. And I think the statement came from Nitin Gadkari and no less. And they said, by all means, we are an open market. You're free to come and sell your vehicles here, but we can't permit you to just open a showroom, import cars from China and sell them in India. So the FDI norms of sourcing from India, I think it's at least 30% of sourcing has to happen from India, and that has to increase and has to sort of, you know, keep stepping up as the company spends, any international company spends more time in India. So I think we were very clear from day one that you've got to manufacture in India to sell in India. Now, for the balance part of what is not manufactured in India for any company, including Tesla, the meetings that happened last 2 weeks ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, where some Tesla officials had come over and they had met key economic ministries as well as some private sector, you know, companies to partner with. What really came out was, and what you mentioned, the pressure tactics, you know, that Elon Musk was trying on his own platform, Twitter. I think the ask was that India should relook at its import duty for cars, right, and electronic cars being part of the same segment. And the ask was that we don't want to look at 100% import duty, and it should be closer
around
to, let's say, a 40% or something, right? A 40% duty is what
actually
we want to look at.
70% to 60%.
Was it 70? Okay, right. So there was
so asking for some concession there.
Yeah, there was this duty cut expectation from the government, which we don't know what really transpired in those meetings, and time will tell. But I think this new update which is coming from Tesla is on account of the announcement that, or the conversation rather, that Elon Musk had with the Wall Street Journal at an event yesterday in the US, where he was joining remotely from Palo Alto. And I think the question asked to him was that what is next for Tesla's international expansion? So he reiterated, like you also mentioned, that I've announced earlier, and I stick to it, that Mexico is going to be my next bet outside USA. Then there was a specific question asked to him that does India seem like an interesting proposition, to which he responded absolutely. And that is where it pretty much started and ended. And then the speculation is right that, hey, is he coming? Is he going to invest? Will Tamil Nadu be the first plant? Is it going to be Karnataka? Is it going to be Gujarat? So I think all the speculation is ripe right now. But what is really happening inside that beautiful mind of his is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But of course, I mean, if Tesla makes its entry into the Indian market, it opens up more avenues for the high net worth individuals to splurge on very expensive cars. And but what that also does is, of course, which you can't deny,
correct me if I'm wrong, if he were to make in India, and if he were to set a shop in India, be it in Tamil Nadu, be it in Telangana, wherever he deems it fit, and he's being non-committal because he only responded in one-word answer, and that is absolutely nothing to add to that. But if he were to make in India, and there would be a substantial cut there, therefore, because there'll be no import duty levied on a car which is assembled in India or made in India, or parts made in India and assembled in India, which means Tesla cars are going to be less expensive as opposed to if he were to bring them from outside?
No doubt, they will be less expensive, but there is this beautiful difference between cost and price.
Okay.
Your cost may be low, but you may not want to price it low. So, of course, you will not be paying the import duty. So, let's say something that would have cost you maybe 1.4, 1.5 CR will now end up costing you 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs. But
so that is
the arbitrage as opposed to paying duty. But yeah, I think that is where it sort of rests.
Okay. So from what we know so far, and this is to just sum it up, Tesla is looking to re-enter India. We don't know when, we don't know how, but remember, there was a meeting of Tesla executives with the government officials as of last week, about 2 weeks ago, and reports are now coming in that there was discussion on setting shop in India, setting up plants in India. Those are, of course, very sort of initial preliminary information that we are getting from a variety of newspaper sources. We will, of course, have to wait and watch out for what Tesla has to bring on table for Indians, but Tesla cars there, people waiting in India to get their hands on Tesla cars.
And just on the import duty part, Shweta, I think cars which are costing in excess of $40,000 US have a 100% duty, and cars costing less than $40,000 have a 40% duty. So I think he was betting on the higher segment, higher price of cars, but the lower segment in the import duty.
All right.